Welcome back to the channel, and on this episode of The Designer and the Writer, we are going to do some rebranding for the Houses of Hogwarts. I am Creative Bobbie, and I am the designer.
And I am TJ Tooley, and I am the writer.
Now, if you notice, I got my Hufflepuff shirt on, TJ casually just kind of tossed this wand up there, you know what I'm saying? We're theme oriented show here. So we had this idea. This episode and these series of episodes are going to be more at the heart of what we wanted this show to be in the first place, kind of analyzing fictional things and seeing how design is interwoven in there. And we're going to start here with, of course, Hufflepuff, the most disrespected house in all of Hogwarts. I'm not just saying that because I'm a proud Hufflepuff, #loyalty.
Hufflepuff house is a really awesome house. And like you said, it's been kind of not really highlighted in the best way recently. And especially even within the confines of Gryffindor and Slytherin and Ravenclaw, some of these houses that tend to put themselves kind of in the upper echelon of Hogwarts itself. Hufflepuff's never been that. Hufflepuff is kind of a little less, assuming than that, or kind of not really the shiniest, if that makes sense. And part of that is kind of the school culture in general. There's certain behaviors and attitudes that are encouraged, whereas Hufflepuff should be what the ideals are. It should be that welcoming and inviting thing. But when you have anything that might even be a little bit inherently competitive, then the idea of welcoming in pretty much anybody kind of is viewed almost as a negative, where it really should be the highest positive. And the badger as the logo, as the icon, as the symbol, whatever you want to call it, is a really cool idea, because the badgers for the most part will just kind of stick to themselves, but then if they're attacked, then they're going to mess you up, And so that's kind of like the we protect ourselves, protect our own, like, kind of mentality. And I think that there is something really strong and powerful there that can be leaned into. It's just Hufflepuff right now, before anything we do, is going to it just needs a little bump. It just needs kind of a refreshing kind of look. It needs an identity, because right now, unfortunately, it just doesn't. It's kind of become the house of the rest. And we need to reframe that, restructure that, so that it's viewed as a destination house for these first years that are coming in, and also for the people who are there, and for Hogwarts alumni everywhere to kind of latch on to, as like, this is our identity, this is who we are. It's not just about, we're the ones who welcome everyone else. Like, it's, we are here, we are Hufflepuff, this is who we are.
When it's anything about competition and anything about like having the best people, having a house that's like, we're very welcoming to everyone, people, like you said, like people try, well, no, you have to be discerning, you have to do this. And I really want to highlight that part of the project of this is kind of like brag about Hufflepuff more, which is not something that Hufflepuffs do, can confirm. But with this branding, like a little more in your face, a little more like, we are loyal, we are hardworking, we are Hufflepuff. Like, so, because I feel like sometimes some of the people in the other houses are more likely to have a more individualistic view, whereas I feel like Hufflepuff is the house that's more likely to have a community view.
So easy right off the bat, I agree with everything you said. And for this, Hufflepuffs are not going to brag. They're not going to try and highlight themselves. And so we need to let this branding and let the house logos, icons, symbols, all of it needs to work to do that work for the Hufflepuffs, because they're not going to do it. I wanted to kind of look at some of the words, the things that kind of make Hufflepuffs themselves historically and now. And some of those words that they have, you're loyal, patient, hardworking, modesty, some of those are great. Some of those don't work as well for what we're trying to do. And so I want to lean into the loyalty and the hardworking part, but also the dedication that kind of comes into protecting yourself, protecting your own, like the badger. And so I had this idea of kind of coming up with a like house for all kind of approach. We are the house that Hogwarts should be. We are the real Hogwarts. We are the people's house. Something like that you could put there. And it's like almost to the point where you're not really going to, like, there's gonna be like, yeah, there's Gryffindors over there, Ravenclaw's over there, Slytherin's over there, the people's house is over there. You know what I mean? It's like you're not with us, but you should be. Like, you should be rocking with us because we are the people's house kind of thing. We are the house for all, is kind of the more welcoming thing that you'd put out there, but kind of be loyal to the house, loyal to your work, loyal to the work of your fellow Hufflepuffs, and dedicated to the house. And so I kind of have it in my mind of this, like, loyalty, hard work, dedication. You could have a house saying like back the badger. That way it's stronger. It kind of leans into what we want it to. And yeah, the house for all, or the real Hogwarts, or the people's house, those kind of ideas, those names that aren't the name kind of popped into my head.
We are the people's house. I think you're on to something there, TJ.
I like it.
The people's house. I like that. And the house for all. Like, what a way to, and like for those watching, this is exactly how branding conversations actually happen. Like all the branding conversations and the branding things you see out in the world, there are people who have conversations just like this. It's like, especially like when a brand is seen a certain way, how do we shift it? And what you're doing is say, okay, lean into most of the stuff that people are already saying, but then put a more powerful twist on it, to it's like, no, you're not bestowing that upon us. We're telling you who we are. And that's the other thing, is like, with this project, like, how would you, like, if the sorting hat weren't a thing, how would you want to get people interested to being in your house, be a part of what you're doing? Like, I think this is great. I think this is fantastic.
Yeah, the idea that witches and wizards just around the world are just going to be hanging out, and they'll be like, hey, yeah, I was, well, when were you at Hogwarts? And then you'd say like what years you were there, and they'd be like, what house were you in? They're like, I was in the people's house. Ooh. Okay.
All right. Basically, the concept is like the ears of the badger, and then with the H, and like, because the badger has those black lines on their face. And so I had it to where like it could be the ears with the H, with the lines, and then it's like softer at the top and then sharp at the bottom. So it's kind of like the nice wholesome image at the top, but then it's like, don't mess with us. The crest, which, so the shape is basically the Hogwarts shape crests for the houses, but like super like sharpened and edged out, stuff like that. So I did that with the black being the lines for the face, but like represented on the crest. And then I had, like, since it's the earth element, and uh the people from Hufflepuff are, you know, talented in herbology and stuff like that. So I have the top have like a symbol of a flower, an herb, and then the bottom being like the symbol of earth. So I thought like So,
Cool.
and I think that might be a theme I want to continue with the houses, is having like the logo and then maybe like a version of the crest. So
Okay.
I was very excited when I came up with that.
I like the way that the flower kind of serves as like a crown jewel or a crown in and of itself. That's pretty neat. The shape, the familiar shape of like the Hogwarts badge shape is there, kind of paying homage to the old branding without like representing it completely.
Right.
And then the elemental part of it, like that's something that I think is really cool for the houses in general. So putting that in there, if you could work that into the other designs, that'd be really cool. But if nothing else, like those lines there make it feel grounded, make it feel kind of, not just earthy, but like it's a grounded house. Like they know what they are now.
Right.
And I like that. I think that's cool.
Kabooyah!
Okay. Wow.
So these are like, yeah, I kind of went a little crazy, but like
I like that.
I got the idea of like having like big banners.
Mm-hmm.
And then so these are like, this is like a series of 3 banners, and to kind of showcase the brand of the house. So you got Helga Hufflepuff there with the House for All. You got tribute to my guy Cedric Diggory with a little pin there. And then we are the people's house. We are Hufflepuff.
That's really cool. And it weirdly works with the 3 of them together too, if you wanted to do like a mural wall. But like, no, those are really, really cool. I love the visual effects you were able to get with the faces of the people. That looks really cool.
Good old filter gallery in Photoshop. Because I was like, this is like hyper aggressive. And I was like, on accident. But I was like, as I was doing it, I said, you know what? Hufflepuff needs an in your face, like, yo, don't mess with us. We out here. We the best. We the best music. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm really excited about that. And I have you to thank for like inspiring the theme of the branding. See, this is why we have these conversations, TJ.
Yeah. There's going to, of course, be the historical, like the old school, the tapestries, the robes, the things that make it feel good. But like, they could have new school banners flowing around, or doing some in-your-face advertisement. A lot of these would look really cool around the Quidditch pitch. It's just, I'm imagining just walking around, seeing the new designs, especially because we're doing this over aggressive rebrand of the entire school. So these banners are going to be like in the hallways. They're going to be, in the Great Hall. I'm imagining a cool way to do those banners, or new versions of the banners, just in the rafters of the Great Hall, if we could, or at least off the wall. There's some cool stuff, and this black and yellow and the new H. I think that's pretty neat. I think it's gonna look really cool. And I know you said that it could be like interpreted as like the ears, but with looking at like the lapel pin version of it, it almost does work really. It would work really well as the eyes with just the pin. Or if you did more like slit eyes instead of like rounded eyes, make it look even more aggressive. That'd be kind of cool and intimidating. But and then, because this is you and me, and we love to just do the simplest, most basic things. Now I have myself wondering what the Quidditch robes would look like, or the Quidditch branding would look like, because that's a whole different thing. But, you talk about athletics logos, you might as well incorporate that H into it as well.
Now, this is me, stopping stopping myself enough to show you these things, because like my mind is like, whew, you wouldn't know anything about that, TJ. No. Your mind kind of just constantly running ideas and going down a rabbit hole of things like,
yeah, goodness no. Never heard of it. And like, I you know, this is something that maybe people don't necessarily realize. You and I are making a lot of this stuff up as we go. Like we're just throwing ideas at each other. You know, in the early part of this video, it's like, you know, oh, we could do this, or what about this? A lot of that stuff was just kind of made up, like as we go, and that's just a cool way to show like how ideas like this happen in the real world, how branding projects work. I mean, from the ground up, it's like, okay, let's start somewhere and then like let's build from it. And I think that the way that this built up to something really cool is really awesome to see.
And that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. We will be doing more of these. We got Hufflepuff out the way. We will do Ravenclaw. We will do Gryffindor. We will do Slytherin. Maybe even Hogwarts itself as an entire institution. So you want to be subscribed so you know when those videos drop. Like and share. Remember, as you go along in life, teach as you learn and inspire as you do. See you next time.